Carolina on the rise. Carolina on the rise.
What's going on, Panther Nation? Bill Mack here with another edition of the Panther Prowl. Glad you Panther fans have clicked on this video. This is Bill Mack. Folks, I am so glad that, like I said, for you to see this video here. I'm, of course, Bill Mack, going to bring you, as I constantly do with each and every video, my analysis, my thoughts coming in as I either preview or review our beloved Carolina Panthers and their strive to drive to the Super Bowl. And what a great time to be a Panther fan, as our Panthers, of course, coming off a win against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa Bay, 17-3. Now we get into the meat of our schedule, the second half, and we are a better second half team than we are a first half, as well as Cam being a better second half quarterback, as we always do, because we have a really good record when it comes to being in the second half. And what better with it and needing that right now as things have happened this past week, a lot with the trading deadline hitting us, just a lot going on, a lot to process, and of course as we get into divisional play, and that is what today's video is all about. Our Carolina Panthers are taking on the Atlanta Falcons, so let's get right into the video, folks. Coming off here, of course, Atlanta Falcons are 4-3. They are 3-1 away, coming to Charlotte, Bank of America Stadium, to take on our Carolina Panthers, who are 5-3. They are, of course, 1-2 at home. The good thing is that we are projected from ESPN at a 57.3% chance of winning, which is great because we were predicted to lose last week's game, but we showed them our defense, of course, showed them, and what our defense we do have, the second-ranked defense in the NFL. And let's get into the stats leading currently up until this very game. Cam Newton, of course, our quarterback, 166 passing attempts for 166, completions out of 263 passing attempts. He's got 1,841 total passing yards, 10 TDs to 11 interceptions. And mind you, this is really statistically one of his worst years that I know him being in a Panther uniform. Of course, Jay Stewart, 110 carries, 329 yards, and 1 TD, which he got last week, the very first one of the season for Jay Stu. And, of course, our leading receiver now, and I'll get to that when I say now, is Christian McCaffrey. He has 49 catches, 378 yards with 66 targets and 2 touchdowns. And looking on the other side of the field, we have the Atlanta Falcons, of course, Matt Ryan of 153 of 232 completions, 1,844 total yards, passing yards, 9 TDs, 6 interceptions. So not as productive as a Matty Ice of the Super Bowl last year. Devontae Freeman, of course, their leading running back, 103 carries, 466 yards, and 5 touchdowns. So he is a force, and he is, of course, on my fantasy team. And the wide receiver who needs no introduction, who really hasn't had the high year as we would expect him to have, of course, Mr. Julio Jones, catching 37 passes for 540 yards, 56 targets, and only one, yes, Panther Nation, one touchdown in 7 games. Maybe that works out for the best for us. Now, of course, our beloved Panthers defense, number 2 in the NFL, is led by, of course, linebacker Julius Peppers with 54 tackles, 35 of those solo, and 2 interceptions as he got one on his first game back last week against Jameis Winston. And none other than the ageless wonder himself, number 90, Mr. Julius Peppers, with 18 tackles, 13 of those solo, and 7.5 sacks. Wow, 7.5 sacks, leads our beloved Panthers and one of the top sack getters in the NFL. So what a way to have Julius come back in his first year and to have the production that he has gotten so far. Now, here are the team stats, how they match up next to each other. We've got, of course, Atlanta, of course, is leading in points per game. They score 21.9 to our 18.5. But Carolina, of course, and as our defense is, we're giving up only 17.8 to Atlanta's 21.7. So we see where our defense, that our offense isn't scoring much, but our defense is not giving up more than. Atlanta, of course, total yards per game, they're scoring at least 386.7 yards per game compared to Carolina, our only 329.9. Now, when it comes, of course, back to defense with total yards allowed per game, our beloved Panthers are giving up less than 283.3 compared to 339.1. So, about a big 50, 60-yard difference. With that, which we can give all the credit to our defense for those particular yardage and not allowing that with our defense. Transaction time. Here's some things that's happened over the past week. Of course, like I discussed, the trading deadline, and I felt like we got robbed yet again. Interim GM Marty Herney has basically traded away our number one receiver. Yes, I know. We're 5-3. We're trying to make a push to win the division, to go to the Super Bowl, try to win the Super Bowl. And guess who we end up trading Kelvin Benjamin to? Is it another division rival? No. Is it someone else in the other conference? Yeah. And anybody guess? Just think now, who would we trade or send someone to or sign with another team? Of course, no one but the Carolina Bills. I mean the Buffalo Panthers. Wait, no. Excuse me. The Buffalo Bills. Brandon Beane, you must think of something. There's got to be a conspiracy. Brandon Beane, of course, if you don't know, used to be the assistant GM to Dave Gettleman. He got signed in the offseason to be their GM. There's Sean McDermott, of course, that was our previous defensive coordinator. It's gone over to be the head coach of Buffalo. And it seemed like there's got to be these meetings or something under the table that us Panther fans aren't getting while we're trying to send them and make them a better team. Now, here's what the trade is. It shows that we trade over Kelvin Benjamin. We're going to pay the bulk of that $8.5 million $8.5 million contract he's got this year. We send that over to Buffalo. Now, are we getting someone that we're going to be able to make an impact on the field immediately? Well, of course not. We're trading with Buffalo. We're trading with Billy and with Brandon Beane. No, we're not going to do that. We get a 3rd and a 7th round draft pick. What? A 3rd and 7th round draft pick. Next year's draft, 2018. Is that draft pick going to help us now? No, it don't. So, being Buffalo 5-2, the Panthers, our Panthers, 5-3, trying to try to march to the Super Bowl. And we give our number one receiver to them. It's like, here, go ahead, take them. You want to help? Y'all want to push? Y'all want to be stronger? Go right ahead, we'll give them to you. There's just something not quite right about that, Panther Nation. I don't know quite what it is, but it just does not seem right. But needless to say, we end up trading him to the and a lot of the Panther players were kind of caught off guard. A lot of fans, such as myself, we were kind of wondering, hey, what 3rd and the 7th round for our number one guy? But needless to say, then that means it's opened up a slot. So who are we going to bring in out of free agency before free agency closes? Who is our Panthers front office got to pick? Is it Jarvis Landry, is he going to be coming in? Are we going to, are we trying to, maybe T.Y. Hilton maybe? Could he possibly come in? No, of course not. Our front office has signed Brinson Burson. What? Yes. The golden boy from Wofford, from the big cat Jerry Richardson's own college, Wofford College. He gets signed to fill the void left by Kelvin Benjamin. Get that, Panther Nation. We thought we'd seen the last of this guy. This dude has been cut 4 times in the last 6 seasons, and we still managed to keep him on the roster one way or the other. I thought we could say bye-bye, Brinson, when we cut him in the offseason or the preseason, but no. He finds his way back into it. Why we want him there, I don't know. I thought we'd have tried to go out and get someone else, but that's who the big cat himself, Jerry Richardson, wanted to do. So Brinson, of course, probably had the same locker and everything is still there, expecting him to come back, and of course that's just what happens. So, needless to say, those two things that really caught me off guard, that Kelvin got traded and that we actually re-signed Burson back again. I'm not a big Burson fan at all. It just does not really contribute much, maybe a little bit to special teams, but we've met those needs this year. Injury report coming at you, Panther Nation. Greg Olson, of course. Good thing is he is allowed to this week to step back on the practice field. Now, he won't be able to return until the game against the Jets after Thanksgiving, November 26th. So we won't see him back in a game until then. But the good thing is he's allowed back on the field this week and to begin practice. And so that is great news. The quicker we can get him back in here, another weapon that Cam will have at his disposal for this offense that is taking shape now. Also, Ryan Khalil's still out with his neck. I really hate that. I like Ryan Khalil, and you can tell him anchoring that O-line really what it means to have him anchoring it. And, of course, Trey Turner is still out. Now, Trey Turner could potentially come in as a backup or be used as a backup if needed, but chances are he'll be back. He should be back next week in next week's game when they play. So maybe next week we'll see Trey Turner back, and it'll fulfill that, another fill. It will refill one of those voids left on our offensive line. So glad to see that. But I've just felt like we were just done with so little, But we tried to wrap our minds around this trade, why it was done, and here's my points. This is Bill Mack's thoughts here. I just feel like maybe, and what a lot of news outlets, sports outlets have said, ESPN, Fox Sports, all those have said basically that we feel as if the Panthers need speed. And they've drafted Funchess and they drafted Benjamin. Both 6'4", 6'5", 230, 240 pounds. They both do the same thing. They're not speedy. They can run routes, and they're tall, big targets. So you can throw it up. But sometimes you need to have a balance there. When you've got both these guys on the field at the same time, it limits your options. So sometimes you have to mix tall, lengthy in with speed on the other side and kind of offset and give some more weapons. And Cam was just was reluctant to throw to anybody else outside of Olsen, but to Benjamin. Put Curtis Samuel out there, put McCaffrey out there. He was trying constantly. And when you do that, your targeting sucks. When you try to target a man and throw it over now, by letting Benjamin go, it forces Cam. Because remember, Super Bowl 2015, Panthers 15-1, Benjamin tore his ACL. He wasn't even in that season. That was Cam's statistically best season that he had because he had no choice but to spread the ball around. And I had even talked about this last year, beginning of last season, that they were going to they needed to keep the offense the same, even with Benjamin in. But Cam this year has shown time and time again he's going to try to throw it to him no matter what. This is going to force him to be more accurate, but he's going to have more speed, which is what we need because we sorely missed that since Ted Ginn got signed over to the New Orleans Saints. So we missed that speed, but Samuel's quick, McCaffrey's quick, and we even got, a couple weeks back, I know a lot hasn't been said, Kalen Clay, we got him back. he's promising with speed. Demarius Byrd with his shoulder and stuff in his arm, whenever he gets back, he's showing speed. So we're going to have speed, Panther Nation. We're going to have loaded guns on both sides. It's just getting Cam to make sure he gets more accurate and that he matches that speed with what happens. I mean, you seen Ginn was good at speed. Sometimes he'd drop passes when he'd get wide open, but I feel like having Samuel, having McCaffrey with the most touches and most responsible of their offense and receiving, he's going to get that, and that would help lighten his load up a little bit from getting targeted so much. So that's a good thing, and I think that'll work out well. So while it's a sad thing to see Kelvin go, I think the overall picture of it is that it's going to really help Cam to have to be more accurate, to try to get the timing down with this speed. And you still got a lengthy receiver in Funches that you'll have there and that big target. So you're not really losing as much with the same guy and same skill set and same frame there. Now we're going this out because this is the keys to Carolina's win over the Atlanta Falcons. Of course, like I said, now with Kelvin Benjamin gone, Mike Shula has no excuse not to call a good game with all the weapons that he has now at his disposal. He's going to have speed. He's going to have size. So he's got no reason to. And like I said, he's gotten Kalen Clay. He's got, Demarius Byrd's coming back. We got McCaffrey. Olsen's coming back in a few weeks. There's no reason he can't call with those weapons. Cam must focus on getting the ball to his targets. That's an important thing. Don't cry over this whole relationship. It's like a breakup with Kelvin. Put your mind back in the game. Get it to your targets. Be accurate with your passing. Also, too, is the O-line has to do a better job. You've got to, one, protect for Cam. Two is you got to open up some holes. I say this time and time again. And, of course, two of our starters are out, so that's kind of understandable. But we've got to give Cam and protect Cam, let him have the space to keep those rushers from that D-line from Atlanta from penetrating the line and stopping our rushers. So we've got to hold up. Our O-line has got to hold up and do a better job. And there, like I said, there must be a run game by anyone else other than named Cam Newton. We got to have Jay Stu. We got to have McCaffrey, Fozzie Whitaker. Cap comes in. Want to see what Cap can do. Cap played pretty decent with what time he had in there. Wouldn't mind seeing Cap in there a little more to hopefully bring freshness to the team. So run a better game, Panther Nation and Shula. I know you like running the ball so much, but be wise in your decisions and knowing when to run and when not to run. Also, too, what I love about our Panther defense, just keep doing what you're doing. Just keep doing what you're doing. That's my only advice because there's been 4 games out of these 8 that you've played where you've not allowed an offensive touchdown. You've not allowed an offensive touchdown. That game we played against Chicago, should have won that game. It was 3-3 defensive, but our offense, of course, was sloppy, and their defense got a tip ball for a pick 6, and then a fumble, of course, that led to a touchdown. So outside of that, our defense hasn't given up offensive touchdowns. Just keep doing what you're doing. And what I like is our new offensive coordinator since McDermott went over to Buffalo is Steve Wilks. Steve Wilks, you're doing a good job, buddy. You brought that took a Panthers defense that's one of the top 5, and you've made it even more aggressive because you've installed that blitz in there. 40% more to blitzing from the Panthers has went up, which has created this, putting more pressure on the quarterback to make decisions, to make incompletions, to possibly get turnovers. I applaud you, Steve Wilks, for that. Continue doing, sir, what you're doing. Because when it comes to this game, here's the 3 things you're going to have to, 3 people, what you're going to have to do with this defense. You're going to have to lock down Matty Ice. You're going to have to get the pressure to him, sack him. You got to stop Julio Jones, Bradbury, Worley. That's on you guys to do that. You guys have been playing well. You haven't been giving up. And Bradbury, you got to make up for what happened last year. Jones ran all over you last year, over 300 yards by himself against you. But you're a lot better this year. You haven't been giving up those big plays. So Bradbury, I expect you to keep a lockdown. And of course, Coleman and our other backs, let's keep our eyes. And Adams, boys, you got to keep an eye on Julio. And last but not least is that the D-line has got to stop Devontae Freeman. Now, Devontae Freeman, do pretty decent, but don't run all over my Panthers because I got you in my fantasy league and I got to score good with fantasy league. So the Panthers got to kind of keep a lockdown on Devontae. So if you can lock down Julio, put the pressure on Matty Ice, and stop the running from Devontae Freeman, you've got a really great chance of winning. So that was my take on this game and my preview of the Panthers at the Buccaneers this coming Sunday at 1 o'clock in Charlotte at Bank of America Stadium. Panther Nation, I hope you've enjoyed the video. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, anything, feel free to drop a like in the feel free to drop a comment in the comments. Always drop a like on this video, share it with others, and if you haven't subscribed and and you're a Panther fan and you want to hear my take and my previews and reviews of the games, then you definitely want this is the channel to come to. So until next time, and after the game, Panther Nation, this is Bill Mack with Panther Prowl saying, keep it pounding.